So wondering about self-love. Um, I'm becoming more and more aware of the ways that I don't love myself, the ways I'm critical of myself.
Is a real way that lack of self-love shows up, isn't it?
It's insidious. It's like as I'm talking right now, I know there's a part of me that's watching and judging, is what I'm saying good or bad? And
That's
just
exhausting,
wondering.
isn't it? Dealing with that all the time.
It is.
Okay, imagine, a young baby. The idea of the thought, the possibility, the concept of lack of self-love is impossible, at that stage. So that is the natural state. There's no civil war. It's the kind of civil war. It's like you're divided. There's this wants to do this, and then there's this voice that you've mentioned that says you can't do that, or you're not good enough, or all the myriad of forms it appears in. Self-criticism is a massive one, isn't it? And so in answer to your question, yes, after the shift, I mean, if that's still running, I don't think the shift can have happened. Perhaps it could arise and it would be seen, but I pretty much think that it's finished by then, really. Certainly in my case, yeah. So yeah, it's after the shift, it's not a weight that you carry around. It's not that energy is not wasted in that way.
I was really surprised to find out how because I thought I loved myself. I actually thought, I consciously thought I loved myself. But I love this character. This character is fun and interesting and all this stuff. And then I realized recently that I wasn't loving myself by relinquishing my power and abandoning my intuition in the conversations that we had. And when you said that, you said it's kind of a lack of self-love. I was like, whoa. Like, it was just so unconscious.
Yeah. The personality again tricks you into thinking, oh yeah, I've got that covered, and all the time it's running that tape, that program. Yeah, this is like everything has to be seen. That's why I say that, everything. And it's the blind spot routine, and it's put out a smoke screen. Oh yeah, you're self-loving.
Yeah, I also just caught it. It the personality seems I that criticism. I just kind of caught a glimpse of that. It's actually being done. It thinks it's doing it to help. Yeah, because there was just kind of this, yeah, because when you said, yeah, it's a lot of wasted energy, that was a really I was like, oh, I like that. Yeah, it's just like wasted energy. So the possibility was being considered here of like, I don't have to do that. And then there was like this resistance of like, no, we need to do that because that's how I keep you safe.
I think
Yeah.
you caught it right in the middle of its it's trying to pull the wool over your eyes. Yeah, you caught it in action. Yeah.
Yeah.
See, that's what it says. It says, no, you need me,
Yeah.
or you can't let this go.
Yeah, because I'll make a blubbering idiot of myself if I don't criticize myself and keep me on track and say, yeah, don't do that, that's wrong, and you know to be a functioning citizen in society, there's right things and there's wrong things, and I can't trust you to just be yourself. I've got to,
Yeah.
don't, but it's like extreme for me. It's extremely prohibitive.
Yeah.
I mean, I get around it a lot, but it's like a battle. It's a civil war is a good way to put it.
So all those things you've just mentioned about governing your behavior and what's the right thing or not to do, or how is something that is still there. It's just that it comes from a different source. Okay, think of it like this. Okay, here's the natural state. Then there develops a self that can operate in the world, and from that self develops the personality out of the wound, mostly the one that says be like this, don't do that, criticize yourself, all of that. So what we're doing is reaching back beyond the personality, back to the true self, back to the natural state. And that one is able to do all those things that you mentioned. It's able to run your life. It's just running it without the structures that the personality imposes on that running of it. So you will still, you know, my life is still run by something. It's just the coding that said self-criticize or do more or push yourself to the limit or has just been kind of deleted. So it's informed by the natural state, and the natural state has no civil war in it. It has no conflict with itself because it is just what it is. In the same way that a baby is just what it is, that can also happen as an adult. So there is still a governing, of course, of the life. But I guess that you could call it a let go into the original self that governs it.
So like societal norms, you know, like when in Rome, do as the Romans, the natural state does have that situational awareness of what's appropriate.
Yeah. You know, if there's a rule of lockdown and wearing a mask, you do it. Because you're in this society and it's respectful to everyone else in it. Yeah, there are rules of society. So you play, generally, you know, you play by those rules. If you respect that to a certain extent, then you do that. But you're kind of undercover, you know, you act like everyone else, but you're functioning in a very different way. It's like being undercover, really.
And I'm guessing you have a little more freedom within that.
Well, I have freedom from the personality, that's for sure. Did you mean another sort of freedom or?
Yeah, okay. I mean, this would just be an example for me. Like my thing that I love to do more than anything is dance. I'm like the ultimate club dancer or concert dancer, Grateful Dead dancer. But it's like for a guy to just dance, it's not always, you know, normal. You know, society doesn't, you know, like a woman to get up and dance. Oh, that's normal. But then what's that dude doing? You know, so there's like, you know, so I'm guessing in the natural state, it's possible to like, you know, go ahead and dance if I feel like dancing and not be as concerned about that.
I mean, I guess you wouldn't have that voice that says a man can't do that, because you'd more be run by I feel to do this now, and you're following those feelings. It's full feeling engagement with life again. I mean, what a sad thing that Elijah wants to dance and he stops himself dancing. That's a very sad thing, and from this point of view, a crazy thing. It's like stopping yourself breathing or something. Yeah. Well, it's all mad, you know, stopping yourself feeling. It's mad. That's how you're built. That's what's happening. So you feel it. But no, in the personality, no, you can't feel that. You don't feel that, and you don't dance, and you do whatever, you know, this is your particular thing, right? With the dancing. Of course, everyone's got their own thing. And of course you could try and make yourself do it and go beyond it, but that wouldn't be it really, because it's more about understanding where that instruction comes from, that withholding comes from. That's what you got to get to the root of, you know. So this is why I talk about finding the particular structure of your personality and where it comes from, because that's what really gives you the freedom. It unlocks the code, you know. Well, I love to hear that you love to dance, Elijah. I think that's great. It seems to be a widespread pattern of personality that occurs, doesn't it? It really does. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it does seem to come from the wound. Everybody gets kind of this massive hit in their life, because obviously the wound is at some point an interruption in the love that one needs from outside coming to you. So the interpretation is from inside somewhere, from this personality that, well, I mustn't be worthy of it, and that's why it stopped. Whereas the reality is, of course, you are worthy of it, but you don't know that, and you're not in a strong enough position of power, being a young child and undeveloped in so many ways, to say, well, actually, I'm okay, it's them, you know. So then this thing develops over time, and it's insidious. Yeah, it's really hard to shake, I know.
But I think it's good to talk about it, because that allows me to sort of relax and see it more, and sort of, you know, diffuse it more. So I've been trying to write about it and look at it. And
have you found anything out about it, Cindy, from your writing?
Yeah, that it's mostly unfounded. Like, it doesn't like land anywhere. It's just there. So that's what made me think about it, how it's so ingrained into my personality, how my personality has probably formed around that whole issue, you know, about trying to be nice to everybody. I'm, you know, my MO through life has been sort of a people pleaser, and it's getting easier to see and easier to look at, because I know it's sort of unfounded. You know, it's not like, it's not anything other than this probably idea I got when I was a kid, that if I wasn't nice, then people wouldn't like me. So
yeah, but it depends what you mean, or what it means by not being nice, doesn't it?
yeah, that could go anywhere.
Yeah, I mean, is it you just being real and honest? Is that what they interpreted as not being nice, or you did? See what I mean? It's like, if you go in, then you think, well, what did I do that wasn't acceptable? And was it really not acceptable? And you seem to be saying, I've looked at it and it's baseless. Is that right? Is that what you're finding? Yeah.
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 Yeah, for sure.
I mean, it is crazy, isn't it? It's like there's this whole life and world that's been created around that primal belief. And if you go to the center of it, you see there's nothing there. It's not based in any real I'm sure there were events that started and kick-started that belief in you. So it's not that that's not true. But the idea that it is carrying, that you are unworthy, is the bit that is absolutely rubbish. I mean, it has no base in anything.
Yeah, how far, amazingly insane how far it came with me through this life, that I still like, it still comes up all the time, and you know, all through life. And I'm sure it started when I was little.
Yeah. And it will come up until it's fully seen. It won't, like on its own, it won't just go away. It's not like you grow out of it. I think we probably all know that it doesn't work like that. Oh, more years behind me, it's getting thinner and thinner. It's not really getting me so much. I don't think it ever works like that, really. It's part of the makeup of this thing, personality. And if you're identified with that thing, then that's what you get. You are under the governance of those primal beliefs. So I think what you're doing is good, because it's like, well, you're questioning those beliefs, and in that way you're kind of making headway into the structure of it and the architecture of it. So knowing that it's unfounded doesn't make it suddenly go away. I know that. But the more you can sort of undermine that belief by your spotlight of awareness on it, that is that is what you need to do. You need to know it so well that it can't catch you unawares anymore. Because you see, whatever one's particular thing is with personality, and everybody has it, right, is almost your way in to get to the root and beyond personality. That's like your highway into it. And if unworthiness is a big issue for you, you know, that's your way in if you take that journey. So that goes for anyone's personality's traits. You know, I had my own. And they were, you know, I said about this thing about the question, the burning question is what you need to find. And it is in a way linked to this. You know, my burning question is, why do I have this pain? Or why do I feel like that with this issue? And that was my burning question, really. That was my way in. It is incredibly common, isn't it? I mean, it's probably easier to say, do you know anyone who doesn't have it, isn't it? In any form, you know.
Haven't we said before, when you don't have it, then you get Donald Trump, you know, but isn't that probably, isn't he coming from a feeling of he doesn't seem to have it, but he's coming from a feeling of, I'm not good enough, that's why I have to overcompensate.
Well, I can't see how you would want to act like that, or the personality would want to overcompensate so much if essentially somewhere, you know, he had a daddy he had to kind of look up to, and he had to impress with certain standards of being a man, of never being wrong, of never giving up, of always fighting. And so seems to me it comes from that with him. So on the surface, it looks like he doesn't have it, but to me, it's an imbalance. It's just gone the other direction, you know. It's like there's the center, then there's lack of self-love, and then there's egomania, either side. And in the middle, you don't need to prove anything to others or yourself. But strangely, then there is the energy and creativity free to fulfill whatever you are, but it's not laced and overridden with that need of it.